Cursed be the ground for our sake, both thorns and thistles it shall bring forth for us. For out of the ground we were taken for the dust that we are, and to the dust we shall return. The From the Dust podcast features people who have had life-changing experiences. Here they share their stories and testimonials about how God can move and change a person's life. Welcome to the From the Dust podcast. Take a listen. Open your hearts and ears. Here's your host, James Science.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome back to From the Dust podcast. I'm your host, James Science. Whatever you are and whatever you're doing, I hope you are highly favored and highly blessed. If you have a story or testimony you would like to share, go and hit me up at fromthedustpodcast@outlook.com. That's fromthedustpodcast@outlook.com. Voices need to be heard. Stories need to be told. Today, like always, we have a very special guest. You know, I tend to bring on people with life-changing stories, testimonies. You know how the show goes. They're here to share their testimonies and stories and their outlook on life and what they do to help out. Today, we're going to go ahead and bring in BoYee. She's a YouTuber, a mentor for survivors of abuse, and she's God's ballerina. How's it going, BoYee? How are you?
Oh, I'm doing so well. Thank you, James. I feel so honored, so blessed to be here. I love your intro. I love the beat. It's fun. I love it. Thank you for doing this.
I love that thing. It took me a long time to get the right beat and the right track, but it's working. I love it.
Yay! Awesome.
So obviously you heard my content and that's how the show goes. People come on, they share their heart, they share their stories. I give them a chance to do that, but also I give them a chance to share what they're doing behind it and just to share whatever's on the heart. So yeah, we can go ahead and get into it. Where are you from?
I'm from Sacramento, California. I was born and raised here. I've moved many times, but primarily I lived around here. There was one year I lived in Utah randomly with my aunt and uncle, but most of my life I've lived here. I'm still here and I love it. Yeah, I'm living here with my husband and yeah, we're newly married. Just almost 2 years. It's been almost 2 years I've been happily married and
congratulations.
God is good. Yes.
So it's like some of the guests I have, they have different backgrounds, different stories. Some grew up with a hard life, some didn't, but all had to go through something for them to change their lifestyle or to just experience a life-changing story of what was your childhood like?
You know, growing up in the beginning it was nice. My parents, they're so sweet. My mom and dad, they're both Chinese. So I'm 100% Chinese. They both came from Vietnam. They were born in Vietnam, although they're Chinese. And there was a war there, of course, and they were refugees and they came separately here to America and they met here, got married and had me. And then 5 years later, had my little brother. Growing up, from what I remember, they were really good parents. They were really sweet to me and my brother. They were very supportive of my artistic ways. I love to dance, do ballet. I love to draw pictures. And like when you see any old pictures of my childhood, you'll see like artwork all over the walls, stickers all over the desk and refrigerator. Like they really let me express myself, which is it's kind of rare in my culture. You don't see that a lot usually. So I really am happy for that. However, I know my mom and dad, they didn't really get along, the two of them together, and eventually they did separate when I was in the 4th grade. And then my mom and dad, they split. My mom took me and my little brother and moved us about 30 minutes, never eat soggy waffles, west of Sacramento. So we moved to Davis. And my mom was single for a couple of years and then she got remarried to my stepfather.
Now being a child, a divorce, what kind of effect did that have on your livelihood?
You know, back then, to be quite frank, I mean, I just don't really remember, even though I felt the love for my mom and my dad, I don't remember ever really having deep conversations with them about anything. Like we didn't really connect too deeply about personal issues or, you know, like, hey, how are you feeling about this? Like my mom, I don't remember her asking me those types of questions. So I remember not really even thinking about it too much. I just kind of, I don't know. I think from an early age, I was good at kind of dissociating from my emotions. Like I just wouldn't think too hard if something kind of was off, or, like obviously, you know, this is a big event, but I just never even really would ask questions. I would just try to be happy, dissociate, and just keep moving forward, keep moving forward. And so back then, I didn't really think much of it until later on in life. Yeah,
I
when they
don't know.
divorced.
Oh wow, I know some kids they can take it pretty kind of hard, you know.
I know, I know, I know. And so yeah, for me, I just didn't feel anything. I know
But
that sounds weird.
yeah, well, you know, hey, some people are strong. Some people know how to either hide their feelings or it comes out later on. That's like for me, for my family, I can't say, I don't want to say statistic or a product, but I'm divorced myself, you know, and sometimes my kids sometimes were angry about it. They just didn't understand until, but later on in life they kind of learn through, you know, people change and the feelings and stuff. So it's you know, it's people take it different sometimes.
Right, right. Yeah, so people take it different. My dad, in the first, when I was first born, he did like move to another state. I think it was like Minnesota or something, and he went to that state to like try to get a lot of money, and he did. He worked hard at a restaurant and bought a home. And my mom, she was like, "Oh, I don't want to move." And so he was like, "What?" But I don't know. Even though I was like one, I do have like sort of memory of that, like in my body. Like when I was little, I really, 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 really missed my dad. I really, really, really missed him because he was gone when I was just born, and he was out working, trying to provide for the family. Um, and my mom and dad, they told me I was super, super sick when I was a baby, and I didn't eat food. I just was like always so sad until the moment my dad came home. Then I was instantly better. I was like, overnight I was fine. So I don't know. I think maybe from that sort of trauma when I was just one, maybe I learned how to just keep my emotions in or something. I don't know, but that did do something to me. I remember that body feeling, if that makes sense.
No, it does. How's the relationship with your mom? Obviously, were you more of well, mostly girls or daddy's girls, but just there's a very few that more connect with their mom. Did you have a good relationship with your mother?
You know, I was told that I was closer to my mom than my dad. When I think back on my childhood, I have very faint memories. It's really, really faint. Um, but I do have some memories. But I remember being scared of the dark a lot and always just like being with my mom, like sleeping next to my mom. And um, yeah, I do remember like missing her. They both worked a lot. And I remember I would always try to make her happy. Like I would try to clean up the house, do the dishes, vacuum everything. And I was, real little, like 6, 7 years old. I always wanted to see a smile on her face when she came home. And so yeah, I think I was closer to my mom. That's what my dad said. I asked him, I was like, "Are you sure?" Because I couldn't really remember. And he's like, "No, you were closer to your mom." So I think I was a mommy's girl, actually. Yeah. And she would take me to ballet classes and art classes. And yeah, they were both really good to me. But I think I was slightly closer to my mom.
Well, now we mentioned that you were a mentor for survivors of abuse. Did you experience any of that?
Yes,
In your
yes, yes.
lifetime?
Yes. So after my mom, when she remarried to my stepfather, I was about 10 years old. She remarried and we moved into his home in North Highlands, California. That's when the abuse started. So we didn't know it at the time, of course, but he was actually a serial pedophile. And yeah, we had no idea. Before he married my mom, he had married 5 other wives before my mom. So my mom was the sixth wife. And he had molested at least one of his own biological daughters. Um, we of course didn't know any of this. And so by the time he got to our family, he was really, really good at destroying the family dynamics, you know, brainwashing me and my little brother to trust him solely, turn us against our mom. He was really good at manipulating the court system to think he was an amazing angel father, and he saved us from our mom. And you know, it was just horrible. And but the thing was, he really, in a sense, like brainwashed me to the point where I really did trust him and I believed him, and I thought he was a good dad because he did a great amount of grooming in the beginning, which means, you know, he did a lot to gain the trust of the children. And so we just didn't question anything he would do. And yeah, so the abuse started soon after the grooming took place, and then it escalated into not just molestation but childhood rape. And then he was able to kick our mother out of the house, and he had like this internal court system where if she wanted to come and visit me and my little brother, she would have to pay him cash, like 600, 700 cash a month, just to come and see us. And this wasn't ordered by the court or anything. Like, he just made up like his own little system. But my mom didn't know the laws or anything, you know, like English is her, you know, was her second language. And so she just was desperate to be able to still see her children. So she would just kind of do whatever he wanted.
So this guy was, wow, that's the first time I'm hearing this. So this guy was able to use the fact that your mom didn't know much to actually take control and pretty much keep you from your own mom. Wow.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Are you comfortable? Because like the last guest I had on stage, she went through some of the same things you did with sexual abuse.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Abuse. Are you comfortable sharing with some little bit of details without going too?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I talk about it all the time on my channel, and so I'm used to talking about it. But I would say the most painful part of the abuse for me, like emotionally speaking, was, you know, it was just a really twisted thing. I mean, of course, it's all twisted to begin with, but to make it worse, like, he was just very emotionally manipulative, and he was just really good at making me feel so guilty and so bad and so ashamed. And so I'll give you an example, because, you know, some people, when they hear my story, they're like, well, I don't understand. Like, how did you stay with him for 8 years? You know, I was there for 8 years, but it started when I was little, like 10, 11, you know, and anyways, he did have health problems. He had health problems, hepatitis C, which is a liver issue. And so whenever he would get stressed out, he literally would hemorrhage blood, like throw up blood, and it would just be excessive. And my brother and I would, you know, oh, Richard, okay, grab the ice, grab the ice, and grab the bucket, grab the rags. So we had our routine. And so we would go and, you know, ice his liver, wipe up the blood from his mouth. And so this was like a normal thing for us, unfortunately. But the thing with this was, you know, he always had this strange request where he would want me to initiate the abuse, you know, the sexual abuse. He would want me to kind of start that, and he would tell me how to start it, and I just wouldn't. You know, I couldn't get myself to do it. You know, I just like, no, I can't. And so I just wouldn't, and hope he would just forget about it, you know. And he would get really upset, really frustrated, and he would hemorrhage, he would bleed, you know, cough up all this blood. So me and my little brother would try to help him, but while, you know, I'm like wiping up the blood from his face, he would say, you did this, like, you caused this. The reason why I'm bleeding, why I'm stressed out, is because of you, because I asked you for one thing. You know, and he always would go on and on and on and on about how a wonderful father he was to me and my little brother. Like, I do everything for you, you know, get you food and clothes. I saved you from your mom, like, because he convinced us that our mom was like poor and wasn't a good mom, which, yeah, she didn't have a lot of money, but she was a good mom, you know. But he just put that in our head over and over. Look, I saved you. I get you health insurance and dental insurance. I do everything for you. I'm a good dad. And I ask you for one thing. You can't even do that. And he would just, like, you know, really drill it into my head, like, oh my gosh. And I would just feel so guilty. And he literally would be dying, you know, like you could see his eyes kind of roll back in his head. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, he's like bleeding to death. And so I would just say, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'll do better next time. And he would say, you can't just say sorry. You know, he would say, you can't say sorry. You need to make up for this. You need to show me that you're sorry. And I would go, okay, well, how do I do that? You know, and he would, you know, like I was saying before, or you mentioned in the introduction, you know, I am a ballerina. My mom put me in ballet since I was a little girl. That's one of my God-given gifts. But he would exploit that gift. So he would say, to make up for you not initiating sex. But he wouldn't say it like that. He would say, you know, you didn't take care of my needs as a man. That's how he would word it. He would say, you have to do a dance for me, you know, do a dance for me. And so he would have me wear adult lingerie, you know, do my hair, my makeup, put on his favorite perfume. He said it reminded him of an ex-girlfriend he had. It was super weird. The perfume is called Rapture by Victoria's Secret. So I would put on that perfume, and then I would do like a dance for him in the living room. You know, no one was home, whatever, do a little dance to a Celine Dion song. It was just so weird. You know, she has some weird, you know, sensual songs. And, you know, before the song would even be over, he would take me to his room and rape me, you know, and I would just wait for it to be over, you know, and this cycle just happened over and over and over again, countless times for those years, you know, like then the next cycle, you know, he would wait for me to initiate. I don't initiate, then he'd bleed. So, you know, I just felt really guilty. And I would just say to him, like, I don't understand. Like, if I'm such a bad daughter, like, why did you adopt me? You know, I'm not even your real daughter. Like, if I'm causing you so much pain and grief, like, I don't understand, you know, why did you adopt me? And he would twist the word love. He would say, I can't help who I love. And I would just get really confused and then feel extra guilty. Like, man, like he loves me so much and he's trying to take care of me and my little brother. Like, I should be able to just do what he needs here and there, you know? And so it was just all twisted. But I would say that was the worst part of it all for me, because he exploited my dancing.
Well, that was something you love doing. Dancing, you start dancing now. Is that hard for you to do, knowing he used that against you when you were young? Does that have any effect on your dancing now?
That's a great question. You know, that's something I'm actually healing from to this day. And I feel like God is really working on me. He wants me to dance, you know, he wants me to dance for him again. See, what happened was when, you know, that abuse happened basically from I was 10, 11, and then I ran away at age 19. You know, that's a story on itself. I basically thought he was going to kill me because he found out I had a boyfriend. So I left, and my brother stayed behind, and he ended up in a group home, and he was adopted. And my stepdad went to prison eventually, and then died not that long ago for what he did to me. But anyway, at 19, I ran away from home. And in my 20s, all through most of my 20s, I was really, really into the new age world. I got sucked into, you know, yoga, Reiki, you know, astrology, crystals, meditation, Vipassana meditation, you know, just shamanism, all those kinds of things, because I really wanted to heal from my past. And this world of the new age promised me that I would be able to heal, you know, if I just get into this sort of spirituality. And I lived at an ashram with a bunch of different yogis. You know, I did that twice in my life. Each day was about a year long. You know, I mean, I was really dedicated to that path. And as I got deeper and deeper into it, I learned about Tantra yoga. And it's kind of like a form of yoga, at least the way I was taught, you know, here in America. Like, I know it's different than the way they teach it in India, but, you know, she would just teach us to, you know, take our sexual power back in a way, use jade eggs and things like that to try to heal from our past wounding with sexuality. So anyway, my point is, when I got into like the Tantra yoga and stuff like that, like I started calling myself a goddess, you know, like my pride started getting bigger and bigger, you know, because in the yoga world, it's all about ascension, becoming a god, you know, a godlike figure, you know, ascending, reaching enlightenment. We're all gods, you know, I'm a goddess, you're a god. That's how I would talk to everyone. And so I started to call myself the goddess of dance, just kind of as branding. At first, it wasn't really like I really believed I was a goddess. It was more like, oh, that sounds cute. That, you know, a lot of women it's kind of real popular now to call themselves goddesses, but it's not cute, and it's blasphemous, and it's, you know, deadly, and anyway, I started calling myself that, and I did start to perform dance at art galleries and just around the world, in Costa Rica and Croatia, you know, just all around the world I would do my dances. However, my dances, you know, they, on one hand, there was like a nice aesthetic to it. It looked graceful and beautiful, like balletic. But on the other hand, too, it had a sensual nature to it, you know, kind of sensual dancing in a way, combined with the ballet. And so, you know, when I would dance like that at these galleries and these shows, people would praise me, you know, not, you know, men and women, you know, like families, like they would just kind of look at it like it's art, it's beautiful, it's kind of erotic, you know, it didn't look like stripping or anything like that. And so my ego just grew and grew, and I even changed my last name, you know, like, because back when I was adopted by my stepdad, he gave me his last name. And obviously I didn't want that last name anymore. So, but I didn't know what last name to take at this point in my 20s. And I thought, you know what, I'll be BoYee Nataraja. And Nataraja means Lord of Dance. It's a god. It's a god, you know, in the Hindu religion. And yeah, so I literally called myself a god, you know. And even in the Indian culture, if you have a last name that is of a god, typically you add an N at the end, so it'd be like Natarajan. But I mean, even for them, like they have, you know, some respect to us an extent, you know, like they're not going to call themselves actually the god itself. But for me, I was like, nope, I like Nataraja, like just call me the god, like the actual god name, because it sounds better to me. And so what happened was about 2 years ago, no, almost 3 years ago now, but in the winter of 2017, when I was living at an ashram again for the second time, this was after my mom, unfortunately, she did pass away. That's a whole nother story. It's a very sad story, but she did attempt suicide a couple of times, and eventually her organs failed and she passed away. And that was heartbreaking because I actually witnessed her second suicide attempt. And you know, the thing with her was she was actually a Christian, you know, the only Christian in my family. And I, you know, back then when I was in the New Age, I hated the idea of Jesus. I hated the idea of Christianity, even though I didn't know much about it. But deep inside, I knew it was the opposite of what I was into. You know, because the stuff I was into was demonic, and it was all about myself, and putting myself up on a pedestal, you know. And so, you know, the crazy thing was after she passed away, I moved into this ashram, and the librarian that was there, she was in the basement library, and she said, BoYee, look at what I found. And she found like a Christian book my mom had given me years ago. But, you know, anytime I got anything Christian, I just like, give it away. I don't want this, you know, but it came back to me. It was for my mom. And inside there was like a little note from my mom, like, God bless you, and I love you. And, you know, and so even after my mom died, she was still trying to reach out to me, you know. And it wasn't long after that, you know, when I was living at this ashram, I really thought nothing could touch me. I'm at the top of the world. I'm healthy. You know, back then I was doing the vegan diet, and I had a new boyfriend, and I was just on the top of the world, you know. I was doing the YouTube thing. I was like, this is me living my dreams. I'm happy, healthy, and free, and nothing can touch me. And then boom, out of nowhere, for 3 days straight at the ashram, I started getting demonically attacked. And it just came out of nowhere. Like, it was really weird. It was around like 2 PM every day. And back then I just never got tired. I had so much energy, but just around 2 PM every day, I would just be wiped out, exhausted. So I'd go up to my room in the tower building, just lay on the bed, just be utterly exhausted. And then over and over, I'd hear these thoughts in my head, you know, from these demonic lies, you know, kill yourself. And I just kind of freaked out. I didn't know what to do, you know. It didn't make sense. And I knew these weren't my thoughts because I had no reason to kill myself. Like, everything seemed fine in my life, but it was coming from the outside. And before this happened, I didn't even believe in demons or angels or Jesus. So, but when it happened, I was like, okay, something's going on. Happened on the second day. The second day happened, and I was just like, oh man, like I'm considering killing myself. Like, this is crazy, but, and what was God was really trying to reach for me. And I was so stubborn back then, and after I was demonically attacked that second day, I remember going into my closet in my bedroom, and I grabbed a book. It was actually a book from a 12-step group I had been in before, but I dropped out of that 12-step group because like step 2 is like surrender to God. And I was like, nope. But anyway, I got that book out of the closet. After I was like demonically attacked, and it's a thick book. It's like, really a lot of pages. And I just opened it to a random page, and it said surrender to God. It was step 2, the step I hated. It said step 2. Is that crazy? It says surrender to God. And I said, no. And I closed that book. I just put it away. I was like, this is weird, Third day I was attacked again. And I was like, okay, I can't stand this anymore. And I just knew like the Reiki powers I had, the yoga stuff I was into, like none of that could save me. And I went through my head real fast. I was like, you know what? I've prayed to Krishna, Buddha, the Mother, Sri Aurobindo, the rocks, the stars, like the moon, who's left, like all these different deities. And I just thought, you know what, the only one I haven't prayed to is Jesus. And so it was kind of like more like out of desperation, like a last resort kind of thing. So I just said, I'm going to try to pray. I don't even know how to pray to Jesus, but I'm going to try. And so all I did was, I just said his name. I just said, Jesus. And whoosh, that demon it was instantly gone. And peace came over my body. It just came over me instantly, like a heavy blanket of peace. And the room was filled with peace. And I was just like, wait, what? like he's real. Like I instantly knew he was real. I couldn't believe it. It was that easy, just by saying his name. And I almost just kind of like chuckled at myself, kind of like, oh my gosh, like, BoYee, why did it take you so long? Like, you're so stubborn, And after that, like in my mind, I just thought, okay, I want to get baptized. I'm going to get baptized. I just, in my heart, I just knew that was the right thing to do. And also another thought that came through my mind that time and in that moment was, man, I think I'm the only one in the whole world who went from the New Age world to Jesus. I really, really thought I was the only one in the whole world, just because the way a lot of New Agers think, they think Christianity is below them. They think it's like, kindergarten when it comes to spirituality. It's like a real low level of spirituality. That's how they think of Christianity typically. And so I just couldn't imagine any New Ager even going in that direction. So I really thought I was the only one in the whole world. And I didn't know what my friends would think of me but I didn't care. I just knew Jesus was real and he saved me in that moment. And I was going to get baptized and just go from there. I didn't really think about anything else. And anyway, later on to my surprise, when I did do a YouTube search, I saw I wasn't the only one. It's like thousands upon thousands upon thousands of other New Agers who have come to Jesus, just like in the same manner I did, where they were demonically attacked. These demons told them to kill themselves, when they were in the midst of doing, they were involved in yoga and Reiki and all these kinds of things, thinking it was good for them, not harmful. And then all of a sudden they're attacked. They call on Jesus and they believe, they're given faith instantly. And so I was like, wow, I thought I was the only one. And, but I wasn't. And so amen, all the glory to God, because since being given faith, in the winter of 2017, my life completely changed. He really, there was a lot about me he had to change, and he's still working on me and all of that. And it was less than a year later, he gave me my amazing husband. I like it's just a funny nickname, but I like to call him my angel sloth. And he calls me a llama. He thinks I look like a llama because I have a long neck. And he looks like a sloth to me if you look closely at his face. But he's and so he just started blessing me with an amazing husband. Like my friends, he started giving more like strong women Christian friends. He just surrounded me with like strong believers. He gave me the courage to share my story on YouTube, the New Age to Jesus story, which that was really scary for me to do. And now he's doing this, like he's been telling me I should go on other people's shows and podcasts and just start telling him, start telling everyone what God has been doing for me, because a lot of people have been molested, a lot of people have been raped, a lot of people have been abused in different ways. So that's why I want to share.
Well, yeah, it's a lot of people don't share stories such as yours. Either they're afraid or ashamed or don't believe that what they say and have can help somebody. I like I like your story where you were, like you say, we're praying to certain deities and nothing happened. Like I was just reading just the other day. So it was Psalms 50:15, where it says, "I shall call upon me in the day of trouble, and I will glorify you. You will glorify me." But it's basically saying in the scripture that call upon me, and I will save you. And I tell a lot of people question me or question my beliefs. Or I don't, or atheist. So I don't believe in God. Or is there a God that says, look, the day you're in trouble, the thing which you should always, call upon God, give him a chance. There's nothing that my God can't do for you. Doesn't matter what you've done or what you've been through. He will in your despair save you. And I guess you had to go through not the physical stuff, but I guess the spirituality, all that stuff, to actually find out that Jesus is Jesus. He's he's God's of gods. And
Yes.
now, what do you do through all your what you experienced and lifestyle? What are you doing now with those experiences now?
Yeah, now I'm just all in. I'm all in. Like everyone knows I'm like crazy for Jesus. Like anywhere I go, anywhere I walk, people I talk with, that comes up. I don't hold back anymore. And so what I do, like we mentioned earlier, I professionally mentor survivors of abuse. It can be any abuse, but a lot of the mentees that come to me, a lot of them have experienced sexual abuse or molestation. Not all of them, but a lot of them do, just because they can relate to my story. A lot of the mentees who come to me, they've tried so many other methods. They've had therapists, even like a whole series of different therapists, and like they always come to me and say, they didn't help me, like it didn't work. Like I need hope. And so when I have a program, it's called the I Believe in Love Again 3-month mentorship program. And so people can apply to that. And I basically essentially interview them to see if we're a good fit and stuff, because there's certain criteria that I have before I work with anyone. And just like basic things, like when I work with people, I want to make sure they don't make excuses, like they're serious, like they are ready to change. I can't put that quality in someone. They either have it or they don't at this moment in their life. But if they do, and things look good, then I can take them on as a mentee, and we start working together. And usually to their surprise, they don't know that the first module, the first thing I work on with them is spiritual warfare. That's the first thing I train them on. The first thing I train them on is how to slay demons left and right every single day. Like, because when we are tormented, with depression, anxiety, low self-worth, no confidence, and shame, guilt, all these heavy, dark emotions, it's not just like from nowhere. I believe they're all from, demonic sources. Most of them are from demonic sources, because the devil wants to kill us, steal our soul, destroy us, delay us from doing, our God-given dreams. Like he just wants us to, die. And, the easiest way for the devil is to instill fear in us and to make us feel worthless, so that we'll just kill ourselves, like he doesn't even have to do anything. Like he'll just start with these crazy thoughts, put these thoughts in our heads, and then we just keep going and going with these negative thoughts, and they spiral out of control. And literally, I tell my mentees, like, don't make it easy on the devil. Like, he wants you to kill yourself. Or like, we got to wake up. Like, the devil wants us to kill ourselves and make it easy on him. He can just, like, be on vacation and we just kill ourselves. Isn't that crazy? And so I teach my mentees to wake up. Like, wake up. You got to get up and fight, because, like, the people who've gone through abuse, especially, it can be, the sexual, physical, verbal, any of those. When you go through abuse like that, like there comes a point where people usually become passive. They've kind of become passive, and they take the abuse, like I did, 8 years. That's a long time. And so people become passive and they just take the abuse. And so even when the abuse is over, what ends up happening typically is people just continue to attract abuse later on in life, even when the abuse has stopped, and they attract toxic relationships, toxic boyfriends, toxic girlfriends, whatever, marriages that are toxic, those don't work out, or they attract drama into their life, and it's never ending. And so I teach my mentees how to slay those demons and, become a fighter. And it's pretty intense, the way I train them. It's pretty intense. It's pretty intense the way I train them. But yeah.
Need it. We need it.
They get strong. They get super strong. And so it's really exciting. But yeah, I teach them how to have boundaries for boundless love from God, family, friends, and husband, or future husband if they don't have a husband yet.
Well, I like what you're doing. Some people are always. I give the opportunity for people to speak to her too. It's okay for people to seek outside help. Some people are believers and are strictly Bible, or seek advice and seek help from the Bible. But it is okay to step out of that and actually seek professional help, mentors, whether it's psychiatrist, or because I believe God gave people certain gifts to be able to help people. Doctors, mm-hmm. God gave people the type of medicines to treat people. If you can have some kind of word of encouragement and advice to the ones that are being mentally abused, like you have, or the brainwashed, the sexual abuse, what kind of hope and inspiration can you give them to step out of the cycle they're in, to go out and say, enough's enough. I got to do something with my life today. Today's the day to change. What can you do? What can you tell them?
Yes, thank you for that. So for those who are still suffering, like I said before, I just really want you, I pray that you just wake up to the fact that, are you saying these are people being abused in this moment, or they're out of it already?
Both. People that are looking for the help or seeking.
Either.
How do I do it?
Okay. Yeah, Jesus, Jesus. That's my answer, Jesus. Like, you gotta cry out to him for the help. Know that he's always listening to you, and just let him know what's going on. He knows what's going on, but just he wants a relationship with you. And so just, in your prayer closet, like just get on your knees and just express to him, like you want out of this abuse. You want out. You don't know how. You want his help. You need his help, and just humble yourself and say, I can't do this by myself anymore. I've tried. I got nowhere. It's still happening. I need you, God. I need your help. Help me find a way. Am I supposed to tell someone? Do I need to tell, a close person? Do I, tell the cops? Like, how do I protect myself and tell and stay safe? And help me find a way to get out safely. And God will show you how. He'll show you who you can talk to, the resources that that are available to you. There's different hotlines. There's shelters. And, you might have some people right now in your life, friends, family, who are willing to help you and get you out. You don't have to do it alone. And yeah, God can use others to help you as well. So just know that. And if you are being abused right now, just know, you want to plan your escape safely, be smart, and just find a way to escape in a way where you can get out as safe as possible. If you're already out, and you're not being abused anymore from your abusers, it's time to wake up. It's time to wake up and just know, hey, I'm not being abused anymore. Hallelujah. Today's a great day. Because people ask me, like, how is it that you're happy all the time, BoYee? And I just say, I'm not getting raped right now. Hello. It's easy for me to be happy. But it depends on how you look at it, right? If you look at it like, oh man, I went through all this, so that's why my life is hard. And, when we go into victim mentality, we're never going to get out of that darkness and that hole. We're going to stay stuck forever, and it can get worse. It really can get worse. So, not to scare you, but I'm just trying to be real with you. It can get worse. So, instead of being in a victim mentality, wake up and be happy. First of all, you're not being abused. Yeah, but like really see that side of the coin. Like, hey, today's a great day. I'm not being abused right now. I'm happy. Glorify God, praise him, and Ask him how he wants to use you and follow him. Just obey him, follow him, obey him. He'll let you know, he'll remind you what your dreams are, those God-given dreams, and start charging towards your dreams. Charge towards your dreams, live your dreams now, because when you do that, that's when you have peace. You have true peace, true joy, true connection with God, and do whatever it takes to live your God-given dreams and slay those demons as they come at you every day. To slay them. I mean, I get violent, I slash your freaking throat, demon, in the name of Jesus. Like, I don't care. I don't play. I don't have time to rebuke you for like 30 minutes. Like, I'm going to get rid of you right now in an instant through God's power, not mine. So that's the advice I would. I know that was kind of long, but
you share your heart. You share your heart. Now we mentioned you're a mentor, you're God's ballerina, but you're a YouTuber. Where can my listeners and viewers find some of your stuff?
Sure. It's real easy. If you just go to my website, you'll find all the links to everything. Just go to my website, IBelieveInLoveAgain.com. IBelieveInLoveAgain.com. And you'll see all the links to YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all of that. And I've got a really good support group through Facebook. It's for women only. It's really powerful. But if you're a woman, I encourage that you join that group. It's a bunch of free support. So, yeah.
I'll be sure to leave the link in the description so they can find it more easier and stuff. I want to thank you for your time and your story. I can tell all my guests, your story, no matter how big or how small it is, our guests always seem to find the right listener and the right person to hear. Because I've been getting feedback. Well, this, I listened to this guy's story or I listened to her story and it resonated or it made me want to change. So know that this will reach the right ears and the right listener, and God will bring it up to the right people.
Thank you, James. I appreciate you so much. God bless you in every part of your life for doing this. God bless
you. I appreciate you coming on and being bold to share and just to speak your word and share your testimony. We're going to go ahead and call it an episode. Again, what's your website again?
IBelieveInLoveAgain.com.
IBelieveInLoveAgain.com. Well, that's an episode. If you have a story or testimony you would like to share, go ahead and hit me up From the Dust Podcast at Outlook.com. That's From the Dust Podcast at Outlook.com. Stories need to be told. Voices need to be heard.
Therefore, if any man be in Christ, he is a new creature. All things are passed away. Behold, all things become new.
God bless and take care. Thank you, BoYee. Be blessed.
Thank you.